Hey everyone, it's Johnny Man Dan. I've been trading cannabis stocks for the last 13 and a half years. Big news from the DEA. Finally, we've got volume, momentum, strong closes. We're looking for gap ups. Let's talk about what we're looking at for the rest of the week in cannabis stocks. All right, so a few things to touch on before we get to the charts. First off, I'm going to be trading this move different than anybody that's watching this video. I know a lot of you are holding now for months or to the end of the year or years, whatever. That's your game plan. Just ensure you have a stop loss. You know what your risk is. You've got your game plan laid out. I'm going to be maneuvering fairly rapidly. This is the kind of volatility where my mindset is I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be taking profit on the way up. I'm going to leave money on the table. Every euphoria market that I participate in, I leave money on the table because I'm selling on the way up. I'm rebuying into dips. I'm selling on the way up. And I just ensure that when this move is done, my account's going to be at all-time highs, whatever level that's at, because I'm not going to give back the profit that I'm taking. And so my mindset is being aggressive. I'm looking for gap up opens. I will always sell partial positions on gap up opens and reload in backburners. If you don't know what backburners are, Google Chart Guys backburners. This strategy is what has made me the majority of my money as a trader in hype markets, to know when to buy when things are so extended. And through crypto and cannabis, it has been a godsend in terms of what it allows us to do as traders. But we now have a complete 180 shift, obviously, where now people are looking at, well, is SAFE going to get included? And Curaleaf's got talk of uplisting. Just know that the positive headlines are going to keep rolling here, but also know that we have a very long timeline. A month is a long time in the market, and we've got a bunch of months. Right now, it's looking like this may be in line to be completed in September, which would lead right into the election, which would lead right into, hopefully, Florida recreational vote. So I'm viewing this year as two waves. This is going to be a wave. It's going to cool off and it's going to fade to a certain degree. I don't know if we're going to top out, MSOS 12 or 17. I have no idea. I take it one day at a time and I look at clues and information to help me determine probabilities. But I know that because of the timing right now, with it being heading into May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months until we've got the voting season. So I anticipate that we're going to, run up ideally the rest of the week, but I'm going to be prepared to not run up the rest of the week. And if we do, then we're going to be looking for eventual daily consolidation. We're going to look for, just to lay it out, this is going to go over some of your heads, but stick with me here. We're going to look for first 5-minute oversold conditions to lead to hourly higher lows. That's the back burner. We're going to look for first hourly consolidation, or I should say first hourly oversold conditions to lead to daily consolidation to look for a higher low. And those are going to be the entries on after taking profit, or if you are trying to get a position, because I know a lot of people were caught by surprise. I lucked out today big time. Today was top 5 trading days of my career. Maybe the third. I can only remember 2 days that were more significant. And I lucked out in the sense that today I was transplanting peppers, tomatoes, basil, cucumbers, squash all day, in and out. I would go out for a half hour. I'd come in for 20 minutes. I'd go out for a half hour. And I just happened to be sitting at the computer when this headline came out. And shout out to Pedro posting news. And then I posted halt right when I saw MSOS halt, and then grabbed MSOX and CGC. That is not right. And I also took my first options trade in probably a couple years today. And that was just wanting to go high risk, high reward on CGC. And I already had MSOS and TCNNF in my swing core positions that I was holding for this headline. So acted at, I think, 106, got MSOX at 570, got CGC at 940. And then these options, man, I forgot about options. Got them at 82, and I was scaling out. I'll exit 20% at 120% gain. I'll exit 20% at 240% gain. And then at the end of the day, I exited 10% at 400% gain. $11 calls for this week. And if we gap up open tomorrow, these are going to be trading at potentially, 490% gain. And so I'm going to be taking profit on this position sooner than anything else because it expires on Friday. And I've got 50% of this left, and I was astounded at how fast it was going up. But again, if we gap up tomorrow, I will be selling some positions. and I will be looking to reload first 5-minute oversold, looking for an hourly higher low. If you're newer to trading, you're not trying to overtrade here. You're not trying to do too much. You have to keep in mind that I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. I've been putting in 10,000 hours and knew that within the last 2-year window, this opportunity was going to be presenting itself. So we're going to look at a couple levels here, but again, I cannot stress enough the information, not only the trade setups for the back burners, but when a back burner doesn't work, when 5-minute oversold bounces and leads to an hourly lower high and lower low, that tells us things are shifting. And that tells us be more cautious as bulls because more significant consolidation is coming. So I'm going to be very active for the rest of the week in this sector, trading it. And I'll be posting game plans and things like that in the morning for Chart Guys members. And so let's get into it. So CGC closed after hours. It's up 88 cents. Hourly bull flag after hours trying to confirm. We got 1575 resistance is the after hours high. And after 1575, we're looking really at 1920. That's the next level because 1568 is where we're currently stalling out a little bit. And that was that resistance level. And then, of course, that 1920 level, if the bulls can clear that, then we can say we are at the highest levels that we've seen in over a year. Man, yeah, I thought it would be more than that. Well, we'll see how far we get. Another thing before I forget, we have to be cautious of dilution. We saw what dilution did to the OGI chart. It was a lead bull. It was running really hard, and it had dilution news. And from that point forward, it had relative weakness. Somebody's going to, right now it's a game of, chicken. Somebody's going to go first and say, all right, we're issuing shares and going to dilute. And if it's a bigger name, it will impact the other names. So everybody says, oh, here we go. They're going to start now. So just something to be aware of that, after a significant run, some of these companies are going to dilute shares because that's why they're publicly traded, to sell shares to shareholders. So just remember that. But the support, there's nothing really nearby. I'm looking at the after hours low of 1390 as a support level. But again, it's just the RSI. Like, these moves are so significant and fast and hard that I'm not going to be buying off of a support. I'm going to be buying off of an RSI level, setting my clear risk and reward for the trade. My stop level, I'll risk this many dollars on this trade. But this is what we did in 2018, 2017, where Canadian names like CGC would close at the high. This is the most profitable stock I've ever traded in my life, in my career. It closes at the high, it gaps up, sell partial, reload 5-minute oversold, and then hope for continuation. And that playbook worked for a very long time as it ran 1,000% plus. ACB, same deal, weekly uptrend confirmed. Both of these names had nice weekly back tests of these EMAs. They crossed bull for the first time in years. So weekly uptrend now. In ACB, we're looking at 1150. And again, not forgetting that, 1150 was not that long ago. There's so much ground to be made up by these companies. I'm just trading them. I don't care about the fundamentals of these companies whatsoever. I know some of you do. That's fine. If that's what works for you and helps you make money playing this game, then keep doing it. But it doesn't help me make money. And so I don't care at all about the fundamentals. CGC, the volume traded on this name today, we're talking almost $1 billion of volume. A little bit less than that, but it's 900 million. And so this is now very big money in play. And it's just a question of how much momentum are we going to get here? How much circulating? We're on Wall Street Bets trending. How much is the headlines? How much is CNBC going to be talking about it? Keeping in mind, if this runs through May, runs however long it runs, there's many months in between what I would consider an early fall next wave that I was talking about, the next catalyst, the next headlines. A lot of hand movements tonight. TLRY trying to recover from its relative weakness. If we can't break 297, big red flag. We've got to clear back and get to levels that we have not seen in a significant period of time. And bears are still going to be waiting there. Bears were waiting on ACB at 745 yet again, but they got run over eventually. But they were rejecting the price for 5+ minutes there. And so those previous levels do matter, because if bears are going to make a stand, that's where they're going to do it. It's just a question of, is this a tidal wave of bull volume that's going to run them over and not matter? And obviously, we've got that on day one. And it was nice to have a bunch of hours left in the day. And I do believe some more is coming. So MSOS still holding. That's, I haven't established my game plan yet, in all honesty, on these swing positions that I've had now since the initial HHS announcement low. I don't have a game plan on when I'm going to be selling these or how aggressive. They're more of a swing longer term mindset, but I do know that I want to be locking it in, and that's MSOS. So it's essentially MSOS, TCNNF, longer term swing mindset, MSOX, CGC, shorter term mindset. Ideally, I'd like to let it run for another couple of days here, but gap up. I'm taking profit tomorrow. I've got to stick to my rules. So MSOS support. I mean, we battled. I actually got to check the, maybe we don't have it yet, the inflows data today. No, I don't think it's out yet. But that inflows data has got to be massive. I want to know how much cash they have on hand. I'm just reading the chat room right now. But I want to know how much cash they have on hand because it looked to me, when you're doing this and CGC is running 20% while you're trading sideways, ideally, we're being held back because shares are being created and a bunch of cash is coming in, and then that cash is going to be used to buy the underlying to prop things up a little bit. But very, lackluster. Let's call it what it is. It was a great move, we're all happy, right? I hope you're happy too. But comparatively, we topped out at the 120 candle, and for that period of time while MSOS traded sideways, this was just a night and day difference. And that's why as traders, we focus on these names. It went 50%, maybe a little less, 40%, while MSOS traded sideways. And so, yeah, that allows you to build a position, and that's nice. But if you want those fast, hard gains, it's where the volume and the volatility is. It's a difference of, that's a lot of volume. 550 million. Yeah, it's a lot of volume. That's impressive. I got to know those numbers. We should have run more than that in the afternoon. Anyways, resistance. Weekly, getting that higher high, a good sign. 1460 next level. And we'll see. I don't like the way it traded this afternoon. I'm watching everything, and it was just the dud of the group. Just got to call it like it is. I don't care what goes up the most. I just care what's going to put the most digital numbers in my account. That's my approach to this game. That's how I do it. So we're going to look for 5-minute oversold to mark an hourly high or low, but come on, bulls. MSOX, it was still trading while MSOS halted, and maybe that halt has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't want to start the conspiracy theory game, but that is not the kind of move I would expect. CGC is the kind of move I would expect. So bull break of MSOX of 773. Keep in mind that because it is leveraged, there's built-in time decay. So I don't like doing analysis on levels for MSOX. It ran up very thinly traded when MSOS was halted and sold a little bit into this straight up move. But I would just be charting MSOS, and you could be trading MSOX based. That's how I do it with ETFs. If I'm trading Tesla or Apple or whatever, I'm watching QQQ. And so a lot of my decisions are based on what the underlying, I should say the overlying ETF is doing. TCNNF, nice continuation. 1611. The next level here, pretty much everything from that end of 2022 safe disappointment dump is the next key resistance on most things here. And again, I still like TCNNF because of the extra dangling carrot of November. And if you look at the relative strength here, we're back to testing the strongest we've ever been compared to MSOS. It's trying to be a bull flag, but that's just showing me it's keeping enough relative strength that focusing on MSOS and TCNNF on the US side is what I'm going to continue doing. And again, for day trades, for shorter term, it's definitely the higher listed names. AYRWF, smaller cap name, that weekly equilibrium is testing resistance of 345. Only broke it by a penny. Definitely need more than that. Really want to clear 409 to open things up again. And TSNDF, another one that is testing resistance, still work to do. So if you want to talk laggards, keep an eye on these small cap names. talking about 900 million traded. Here we're trading $4 million. TSNDF traded $4 million today, which is nothing. So, people are going to be scrambling to look for laggards, and keep an eye on these tier 2s. As far as the other names, again, everything that I just said can be applied to these other names. We're looking at, 267, SNDL, got to clear that level. GRWG has to clear its recent high. If you're going to be playing backburners, I suggest the highest volume names, CGC, ACB, etc. GRWG's got to get over 338. And that's more, again, if you want that more shorter term day trading mindset, that's where the volume and the liquidity is. All right, it's late night. It's past my bedtime. Went to a baseball game. This was scatterbrained, but it's been a wild day and a good one. And this is what the wait was for. How many times in the downtrend did I say there will come a time where I'm going to be making significant gains in this sector when the momentum shifts and we have the right catalyst? Well, here's a start, and now let's hopefully keep this momentum going. Broader market was weak today. Obviously, that doesn't matter in the short term, but it's something to keep an eye on. Again, once this news settles in for a few weeks, broader market's going to matter again, and so we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But great day. Obviously, the content, we'll keep pouring it out. If you keep up the interaction, the likes and the shares and the comments, appreciate it all. And looking forward to more actively trading again for the next couple of weeks. Do good things. Have a great night.